you in our new configuration here. So, you're about to take a very important job. What do you need to accomplish that job? Member of the Personnel Committee.
Yes.
Over here. What do you provide a new employee?
A handbook.
A handbook?
Good luck.
Good lessons?
Good luck.
Oh, good luck. What about a job description?
There's one of those.
Here's one of those. The thing that astounds me about this reading, which is always associated with St. Patrick, is there's not much there. Go, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. I'll be with you. Good luck. Yeah. That leaves you out in midair, doesn't it? I mean, I want to know, what do you mean by disciple? I want to know, how do you do that? What am I supposed to be doing with this message? Jesus doesn't seem to be concerned about it. Why is that? It's a huge job description. And it gets worse. Because what is in the mind, what is in your mind when it says go make disciples? I mean, the disciples must have been listening to that and saying, we know what disciples are. We're disciples. We're the disciples. And we know how we've acted. They were always running from spiritual transformation. They lacked faith. They denied Jesus, even betrayed Jesus. They judged others, rejected children, despised the Samaritan woman, rejected God's love. They wanted to form their own exclusive club when others started teaching what Jesus was teaching, even wanting to call down fire from heaven upon them. Remember that story? They ignored those who were rejected in society, like the tax collector or the prostitutes. They relished the idea of being the greatest of all, greater than other people. They are the people Jesus is leaving in charge. He doesn't even define disciple. And all they got is their motley crowd of people they've argued with, mistrusted, plotted with, were angry with. So when he says, go make disciples of all nations, really? You want to repeat all that? And even though Jesus tells them to teach all he has commanded, how many of you know the commandments of Jesus? Anybody? Any list? You have
Are you talking about the Ten Commandments?
the Ten Commandments?
Yeah.
No, those were Moses' commandments.
No? Oh.
You go to
I'm
other.
talking about Jesus' commandments. Did Jesus ever come up with a list of commandments? Okay, all right, right. Those weren't his though,
They were Jewish.
right? They came before him. But Jesus never wrote anything down.
Not sure he could.
That is, what?
Not sure he could write.
Well, maybe, but he did. The only incident we have of Jesus writing anything down was when he was there and they were judging the woman caught in adultery. And he was writing something in the sand, right? That's the only time we know of Jesus writing anything. That's phenomenal. Why do you think Jesus never wrote anything down? Because people would be distracted by it. I mean, have you ever heard of Bible bashing? What happens when things get written down? People start quoting it at you. They start instructing you. They start judging you. Don't you know? It says right here. All that judgment starts to come out. You know? It's very tempting. I think Jesus understood that what was more important was what he was doing, how he lived in the world. You know that great St. Francis phrase, preach the gospel, and if you have to, use words. You preach by how you act towards other people. It's not what you say, it's not what's written down, it's not quoting something at somebody. That's not bringing good news to people. It's your love. So Jesus, you know, some people actually are so frustrated that Jesus never wrote, you know, commandments down, that they kind of wrote them down for him. And it's kind of interesting, if you look at these as commandments, Jesus did command some things. Don't be anxious. What's that for a commandment? Just do that. Stop worrying. Follow my example. Let your light shine. Be reconciled. Practice secret disciplines. Remember to go into your closet and pray. Ask. Seek. Knock. Do unto others. Choose the narrow way. Do not despise children. Forgive offenders. Lead by being a servant. Bring in the poor. Render unto Caesar. Celebrate the Lord's Supper. Watch. Pray. Feed my sheep. Receive God's power. There are things, but all of these things have to do with his example. They're not disconnected quotes from something else. Jesus, remember, Jesus is sending the disciples out without a Bible. They do have scrolls from the Old Testament, but they don't have a New Testament. It hasn't been written yet. He's sending them out with nothing. Go. Now, Jesus was, in fact, raised with commandments. He knew, guess how many commandments there were? Not just the 10, but the whole set of Jewish commandments. Any idea? 613. Would you like to hear them? We'll be here all night. And when asked about it, and this is what you said before, some of you mentioned it before. When asked about the commandments, Jesus said, cut to the chase. There's only 2 that really matter in the big picture. Isn't that great? It's like the cliff notes of the Bible. Right? You remember how I used to do that when you prepare reports for books and you say, oh, I don't want to do all that work. I just read the shortened version of it, the cliff notes. The cliff notes of the Bible are, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's what he sent them out with. That's all you need. Go and love. Love people, love God, love your neighbor. And guess who gets to decide if they feel loved by you? It's not you. Oh, I love them. No. It's how it is felt. It's how the disciples felt loved by Jesus. That was enough to send them out into the world to make the changes that they made. So, here's your questions tonight as we break into small groups. Mindful of the fact that doing the mission of the church doesn't mean bashing someone over the head with your belief system or instructing people how they need to improve their lives. Because none of us feel loved when someone... How many feel loved when someone's judging you? I know what you need. But there are moments that all of us in this room have felt God's love, right? There are those moments when we felt truly loved. So I want you to break into the small groups tonight, and I want you to think about, first question, when did you, or how did you feel God, how have you felt God's love coming towards you, when it felt really like love? Second question, what does that mean for you, and how you then share love and God's love? Got it? Any questions?
Write this down.
When did you truly feel God's love coming towards you? What was that like? How did that come to you? But then how do you then use that sense of God's love coming for you to bring it towards other people? Got it? Or, if you'd like, I can read the 613th commandment. Okay, so break down and try to find a little group to discuss, and we'll gather together shortly.